Hi guys, I got requested this video by some of my Instagram followers, so I'm going to name off some of my top herbalism resources for you guys today, books and apps and things like that. So here I go. The first one I'm going to name off is a book, and that's the Complete Medicinal Herbal by Penelope, and this one you can get on Amazon as well, but I really like this book because it's laid out a lot like an encyclopedia. There's history, there's a lot of really good resources in here for herbs, and also it names off like the different parts of the herb as well, so it's not just the herb as a whole. It'll talk about the leaves and the stem and the root and the aerial parts and the flowers, so that's why this is a really great book for you guys to read. The next one I have is the National Geographic Guide to Medicinal Herbs. Now this one you can get on Amazon as well. This one is really great because it talks about the history of the plant used. It also goes through the timeline of usage and cultures that were using them. So that's why I really like it, because if you want to dive into a little bit of the history of your plants, this is a really good resource for you guys to read. The next one I have here is Backyard Medicine, and that is by Julie Bruton Seal and Matthew Seal, and this is a really nice book because it's small enough to keep in your backpack while you're foraging, so I like that. But it's also talks about medical preparations and things like that, so that's why this is a really great book. This is really good for people that are starting out because it's really simple and it's not too complex. This one I believe is $18.99. I just got this one on Amazon, so there's another really good resource for you. The next one, now I don't know for my American viewers, I'm not sure if you guys can get this one where you live, but if you're in Canada or in the Boreal region, you should be able to get this book. It's also another really handy resource that I use a lot. I keep this one in my backpack. This one is Aboriginal plant use in Canada's Northwest Boreal forests. And this one is great because it uses the reference of the First Nations people, so there's a lot of old world knowledge in this book, not just medical knowledge, which is really nice. Once again, talks about identification, other names for it, which is really good, and also food uses, so not just medicinal uses, but also food uses and edibles that you can find in the wild. The next one is The Herbal Apothecary by J.J. Pursell, and this is an awesome book if you want to not just wildcraft, but if you are ready to start making stuff. So she goes through, I think it's about 100 medicinal herbs, yeah, and how to use them. So she talks about how to use them. She also talks about the contraindications, so the cautions that you need to have with certain herbs. And then she goes through a bunch of recipes on how to make your own thing. So this is a really great book. This is probably one of my favorites. The way that it's laid out is really easy to read. So go ahead and look for that one on Amazon. The next one is actually my favorite herbalism book. I use this one so much. It's full of stains. The pages are ripped. This is the Boreal Herbal by Beverley Gray. And this book is so awesome. This is for more people that are living in the north. She's from the Yukon. She also has an apothecary there as well. This one is great because it has so many recipes in it, and it's not just recipes for medicinal uses. There's recipes for food uses as well. She talks about eating wild and sustainable harvesting. She really goes into respecting the plants and respecting nature in here. So she's just a really wise herbalist. This is my all-time favorite book on herbalism. So this one's a bit more of an investment, I've noticed. I think this one was over $40 what I paid, but it's my most used book. So yeah, it's worth it. The next one, I wasn't even sure if I was going to name this one off because I'm not sure if you guys will be able to find it, but if you search for it and you do find it, it's worth it. It's actually just this tiny little booklet, and this is The Plants and Medicines of Sophie Thomas. So she is a First Nations elder, and our local university, University of Northern British Columbia, actually put this book out for her, and it's all of her First Nations medicines. These are all harvested locally in my area. So if you're in like the BC, Alberta region, this is going to be a really amazing book for you guys. So check this one out. It's awesome too because she uses the First Nations words for everything. So that's pretty awesome. The next one I have is actually it's not really a herbalism book, but it's such a good and handy book to have with you. This is Bushcraft 101 by Dave Canterbury. A lot of people have this book. There's actually a series of these books, but this is the best one, and this is one that I carry in my backpack as well. I think this is my 4th copy I've had because I keep giving them away to people because it's such a good book. He talks about, there's not a whole lot of herbalism in here. There is some wild edibles, and there is a few medicinal herbs that he talks about first aid in. But this book is actually just awesome to have if you're going out wildcrafting. There's a lot of really handy tips in here. So not really a herbalism book, but still in my top books as a resource. And the next one I'm going to talk about isn't really a book, but it's actually an app. It's the PlantNet app, if you guys have ever heard of that. It allows you to take a picture with your phone, and then it will ask you what part of the plant you're taking a picture of. So it will ask you if you're taking a picture of the flower, the stem, the leaf, or the root. And you can then upload it, and it will give you suggestions on what that plant may be. Now, this app is really good if you're probably 90% sure you know what it is. If you completely don't know what a plant is, I would actually avoid it because it gives you so many suggestions and it doesn't just always stick to the region you're in. So you might get some suggestions that are from Asia when you're in the Boreal region. So use it. It's very handy. I use it quite a bit if I'm 90% sure on what the plant is. Also, the other great thing is if you can't identify it, you can upload it, and basically a group of people will look at it and they'll all review it, and then they'll put in their opinion on what that plant may be. So it's kind of nice because it's kind of a forum of plant knowledge, which is really nice. So if you don't have that app, it's free. Download it on your phone. It's really good. The next one, and my last one that I have, is actually the best resource you can have is your very own Materia medical journal. So all of the information, basically it's just a journal where all of the information about a plant you've written down. So this is probably my 3rd or 4th journal I have. I have quite a few of them filled up. And basically anything that I find out about a plant, I write it down. And so this book has everything from every book I've read, every stem of knowledge I've had, all put into one journal. So this tends to actually be my best resource because it has everything combined in one book. So as you can see, it's just my journal. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll talk about the plants used, the Latin name for it, what parts of the plants are used, its precautions, medical uses, constituents, actions, organs affected, things like that. So I'll write all of those down. And this is going to be your best resource. The only thing is that it's time consuming. It takes time to write your own Materia Medica journal. So if you want to take the time to do that, you'll be thankful you did it, because once you have one of these filled up with plant knowledge, you will use it more than anything else. So there is my top resources for herbalism that I use. If you guys have any that you know that you'd like to add, you can go ahead and comment below or message me on Instagram. If you guys like this video, please subscribe to my channel. If you don't already follow me on Instagram, please do at Black Dog and Birch. And have a great day, guys. Thanks.